Bidenomics is working.
Bidenomics.
It's a term we're very proud of, I must tell you, because Bidenomics is working.
Yeah, this great economy, one battery, $18. Oh my God, they got them locked in place too. Wow. Here, $18 for one 9-volt battery. Wow. $31 to $35 for 6 little tiny batteries. Wow. A great economy we have here.
But why does everybody hate Bidenomics? Why? It's all going amazing.
It's over for Rite Aid. Soon every single Michigan store will be shut down. How will this affect you?
I have to change where I get my medication at. I've been coming here since 2008.
As of Wednesday, around 300 Big Lots stores have banners on their websites announcing closing this location, with discounts up to 20% off. Company leaders have cited rising inflation and increasing competition as major challenges, stating they have a substantial doubt about their ability to continue operating.
Shares of Walgreens Boots Alliance lost as much as a quarter of their value Thursday morning, after the company cut its profit forecast for the current fiscal year and said it would close more underperforming stores. It also posted quarterly earnings that missed expectations. The pharmacy chain operator said it could shutter a quarter of its U.S. locations.
And that's pretty much where we're at so far within just the past few years. If I covered every company that's closed its doors within the Biden-Harris administration, I believe that this video would probably be at least an hour long. And hey guys, before we get any further in, I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hitting the like button, for sharing this video on Facebook and Twitter, and for subscribing to the channel. But getting back to Walgreens here, guys, it's now expected that they're going to be closing almost 9,000 Walgreens locations right here in the United States. And that's what people are going to remember when we reminisce about the good old days of Bidenomics. Hundreds of thousands of layoffs with businesses closing left and right. This is also probably the reason as to why Harris and her campaign is trying to steer away from this fact.
When did you guys learn that Vice President Harris wants to distance herself from Bidenomics?
Why do you think that?
Axios is now reporting that she is hoping to distance herself from President Biden's unpopularity on the economy. Can you blame her?
Do you know this is the Biden-Harris administration? Are you aware that this is the Biden-Harris administration? And she is indeed the vice president. The contrast could not be more stark between, if anything, the contrast is between what Republicans want to do, MAGAnomics. You're talking about Bidenomics. MAGAnomics supercharge inflation. That's what they want to do. Raise taxes on the middle class by thousands of dollars. Send tax cuts through the roof. Protect corporate price gouging. Cut Social Security. Cost millions their health care. And heap tax giveaways on billionaires and big corporations. That's the division there. That's where there's really night and day. Night and day.
I guess this is why Harris has taken a very drastic policy approach when it comes to the economy, moving away from Bidenomics and into this communistic territory. But look at the impact of Bidenomics on businesses here at home. Early this year, Walgreens laid off hundreds of their employees amid cost-cutting measures. They cut around 650 jobs in Dayville, Connecticut and Orlando, Florida. And like I said earlier, guys, they're closing almost 9,000 stores across the United States. Now, just imagine how many jobs are going to be lost then. Not to mention how this is going to affect customers locally, right? Their CEO, Tim Wentworth, he confirmed that the closures would focus on locations that are not profitable, the ones that are too close to each other, or maybe they're struggling with theft. Now, speaking of theft, former President Donald Trump criticized the idea from California, the notion that thieves can steal items below $950 and have that crime treated as a misdemeanor. Now, this was a horrible idea implemented in part by Kamala Harris and Governor Gavin Newsom. How many of you guys knew that Governor Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew? Well, guys, it's not helping the people of San Francisco as crime continues to run rampant over there.
I'm fed up with this goddamn city. It's like, I can't just be outside and just running a business without getting punched in the goddamn face. It shouldn't be this way at all. Like, this isn't how our city should be.
Now, it's not clear what was said before the altercation or whether there's even video of it, but San Francisco police have said they are investigating. It comes as some stores are locking up everything from coffee to frozen food to try to combat theft. Our Kyung Law visited one Walgreens that's hit by shoplifters more than a dozen times a day. It happened 3 times while she was inside.
Richie Greenberg walked into a San Francisco Walgreens when he saw in the frozen food section this.
Chains, heavy chains that went from padlock to padlock on both sides of the doors, and this was bizarre, something I'd never seen before.
And California is getting hit hard with all these different problems that have been created just within the past few years. Not only because of theft, but because of policies being implemented within the state. One historic restaurant here is this Arby's that's right off the 101 freeway. The iconic cowboy hat, it will soon just be a memory as it closed its doors just a few weeks ago. Freaking Arby's, guys, closing. This particular restaurant location has been there since 1969, but unfortunately, due to food costs and the state pushing for this $20 per hour minimum wage increase, well, the business owners just couldn't keep up. They couldn't afford to pay their employees, so they had to shut their doors. And the exact same fate hit one branch of McDonald's in Stonestown Galleria. The reason for the closure? California's minimum wage policy. Now, I gotta admit, not every store is closing down. Some of them have just done what California's leadership didn't expect. They raised their prices. Wendy's, Burger King, Starbucks, and Chipotle have raised their prices by about 8% in California. How much is a Chipotle bowl where you guys live? Comment down below. And for those of you guys who shop at Starbucks, how much is a coffee, maybe a latte in your Starbucks? So I guess we can thank Governor Gavin Newsom for raising the prices of all these different restaurants and coffee shops indirectly. So why then are we hearing all of this optimism from the White House? As if they're doing something that's actually helping the American people, especially when it comes to these job numbers, right? Because we've been told that things aren't that bad and that keeping VP Harris in power will continue to make things better. Well, here's Fox News' Jesse Waters discussing the great economic strategy of the Biden-Harris administration.
The American people smell a rat, and here it is. The Biden economic boom has never been a boom for Americans. It's been a boom for foreigners. The only reason we're not in a recession is because foreign-born workers are taking our jobs. Yesterday, the chair of the Federal Reserve said so himself.
We've needed more people. Immigration moved up quite a bit over the last 2 years, and this is typically the Census Bureau does all this estimating. The Congressional Budget Office actually went and took a different path and talked to the people who work at the border and that kind of thing, and got a much higher estimate. The numbers are actually higher, and that actually explains what we've been asking ourselves, which is how can the economy have grown over 3% in a year where almost every outside economist was forecasting a recession?
The Fed chair just confessed that Bidenomics is just a migrant job fair. There are actually 1 million less American citizens working today than there were in 2020. As the U.S. economy reopened after the pandemic, Biden's created 5 million migrant jobs. 5 million jobs, not for people born here, born somewhere else.
I'm gonna just go ahead and leave it at that because I don't think anything else has to be said, to be honest. This is President Joe Biden's legacy, one that Vice President Kamala Harris is planning to continue. Now, besides that, the future could look completely different with Harris and Waltz in charge. Now, I did a previous video where I discussed what awaits our children if we continue down this path. How would you like grown men using the girls' bathroom with your daughters in there? Personally, I wouldn't feel all that comfortable with that. But anyway, make sure you guys check that video out right after this one. Go to my channel, click on videos, check out that video, and get yourself educated. I want you guys to check that one out because this is the kind of stuff that they want to hide from voters like me and you. Now, as always, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for liking, sharing this video, and subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.